So you're going to need to know how to make a tetrahedron, which I've got in another video. And then you're going to be making and adding Sputniks. Okay, so there's the little Sputnik, just a ball with the connector with three. And then you add it. And then at this point, I just don't worry about the colors. It's too much in my head for me to think about all the colors yet. Okay, so we will get to that. So now, actually, the way it is right now, it doesn't matter where you add the next Sputnik. Okay. Now it's going to matter. Okay. Once you've gotten the third Sputnik on, where you put it is going to matter. So where do you put it? Well, what I do, and it usually kind of works out, is I kind of try to figure out how could I take this tetrahedron volume thing, right? This tetrahedral thing, and make it into as straight a line as possible. I kind of look at what I've got and I think, how can I make a straight line? And I turn it a little bit and I make another Sputnik. Okay, because I tried to make tetrahelices, and I wrote about this actually, I believe, in my book, Everything Moves, How Biotensegrity Informs Human Movement. When I sat down and I tried to make a tetrahelix, I kept failing just every time. Then one day I was playing with toothpicks and marshmallows with my grandson, Patrick, and I just was kind of playing. I had to have my attention, significantly on him. I mean, we were both building things together, watching him and conversing. And so I wasn't thinking too hard, okay? And I don't know if you can see it, but the helix is emerging. So if I don't think about it and I just try to kind of go in a straight line, I end up doing what I need to do, and the helix begins to emerge. So I'm going to get these other colors out of the way a little so you can begin to see it, okay? So now that I've gotten this far, I'm going to say, okay, let's get the colors right. It'll just be easier for me to see. This one has a lot of green. So what I'm going to do is steal a green from over here, pop it in here. See, it's a fairly stable structure once you've got it this far. I'm going to make this line blue. So I'm going to grab a blue, pop that one out, pop that one in, grab another blue. And then I think what I want is a dark color, this dark purple for this third line. I just want it to be easy for you to see. Okay, it's easier to see the spirals when you delineate them with the colors. So that's why if you're getting one of these magnet sets, number one, get 2 or 3 if you can, or even 4, because once you make something, it's kind of nice to have it around. And they come with different amounts of colors, and being able to color things, color code things is really useful. So I think you can see now green and that purple and that blue. So those are 3 helices. Well, in a tetrahelix, there are 6 to my mind, to my way of talking about it, there are 6 helices. So let's do those 3, the blue, the purple, the green that I just showed you. Okay, they're all going in one direction. Now what I'm going to do is in the opposite direction, I'm going to bring out visually using yellow. That's a color that'll show up with these darker colors. I'm going to bring up or bring out visually another helix. Okay, another spiral within the tetrahelix, I should say. And so pop it out, pop it in. Okay, so now look at this yellow line. You see it spiraling down? It has a parallel line to it. Okay, so there's this yellow line becomes that one. By the time I get all the way up here, okay, one becomes the other. Okay, so there are 3 kind of very loose spirals going in that original direction, the blue, the green, the kind of purple. And now I want to bring out the opposing spirals. There are 2 that go in this opposite direction, okay? So what I think I'm going to do is grab for my second spiral color parallel to the yellow. I'm gonna go with this red color. It's actually kind of, it's not right, but I'm not gonna worry about that. If you're not sure where you are, just leave and come back later. Okay, the structure, now that you've established it, is going to be pretty solid. Keep coming off the camera. So now this red line, kind of, that's more pink. Let me get a more red one. Red line, red line. What's going on here? I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. So now, can you see 3 spirals going this way? Green, blue, purple, and then opposite direction, yellow and red, 2 spirals, yellow and red. I'm going to make this longer. And then the last thing to do is anything that doesn't match those, I'm going to pop in orange. It's more pink. Make it the red. Okay, so anything that's not the red, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple, I'm going to go with this orange color. Okay. And what that's going to do, I hope, is show you the last spiral. It's not right. And you can start to sort of say, okay, if I'm going to add another Sputnik, what color does it need to be? This one, it will need to be blue. It will need to be blue and something else. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to make it, or not. Okay. There's my blue. Okay, so I've got that line. Good. Oh, look. This is the red spiral. That's going to need to be red. So now I can put in the color as I'm building it. Oops. Stray piece of metal there sticking. Okay. So there's the blue, okay? And then every time one of them is going to be orange. So let's not worry too much about it. That orange spiral, like I say, take out any color that's not part of your color scheme. Like I've got those random pinks. And then I don't know if you can begin to see it, but the tightest spiral and going back in the original direction of the green, the blue, and the purple, right? It's this really tight spiral in orange. So follow that visually. There, there, there. It's very tight. And so now I think I've pretty much got it. I've got the tetrahelix with 6 colors, 6 spirals, and then I can make it as long as I want. Now, if I get really clever, somewhere on one end, I'll start one in the opposite direction, okay? So here comes the green. It kind of would, yeah, I would let it come to a V. Now I'm challenging myself. Can I actually do this? Well, I don't know. And then start one in the opposite direction because these are handed. These spirals are handed. And for me, if I'm going to do this really, I'm going to need to not worry about color, just try to make it straight, and then put the colors in the opposite direction. Now I'm going way off of my original plan here and putting more than I meant to. I'm a lefty, and my tetrahelices tend to go in one direction. And I have to work pretty hard to get the opposite direction. But once I have one, I'm now used to the process enough that I can begin to build one in the opposite direction. And so they're meeting here in the middle at this kind of green V, right? And this one's going to spin off this way. And this one's going to spin off that way. They get called left and right spirals. Let's see what's going on. That's going to need to be blue. But, you know, there's spirals within spirals. And so for me, it's a little hard to kind of tell, you know, which one do you want to call right? Which one do you want to call left? Because the truth is, you can sort of visually imagine 3 spirals. Okay, so I'm not going to make this one longer right now. I'm going to see if I can get this one together. And I think you can see that it's starting to look like a helix in the opposite direction. Again, for me, the way I work, the way my head works, it's just too much to think about color while I'm building. It's a little easier to just randomly grab them, make the Sputnik, pop it on, and then try to work out the colors. Okay, so I've done that. So there's my green, there's my green, there's a red or pink. So I'm going to bring it around. That's wrong. I need to fix it. Okay. All right. Green, green, blue, blue. So you're gonna go here, and then you're gonna go. The more you do these, the more you build these, the easier it is. I will say that. And every single time, for me, it's interesting. Every time it's interesting. Um, and when it gets to be this heavy and this big, it does start to get a little bit, even though it's generally a stable structure, because of its weight, it starts to get a little unwieldy and you have to be really careful. So I don't know how much further we're going to get today, but I'm hoping you can begin to see somebody's missing here. That they're really not that hard to build. Again, when it gets to this point, it's unwieldy and it's hard to, you have to have distributed support. I definitely did not do that yellow one, did I? So we didn't get that far. But I did get the green, the blue. Ah, this is the yellow. So I've got this whole thing. I'm going to turn it carefully and keep it supported while I switch colors out. But I'm hoping you can see the tetrahelix, now actually two opposing tetrahelices, sort of emerging in the structure. Again, still not perfect, but, and then at some point you realize maybe you've run out of a certain color, but hoping you can begin to see this. Make another one. And of course, see, there it is, breaking. So now it's falling apart all over the place. Anyway, give it a go. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, this one's totally a mess now. But you can still see that original tetrahelix. Follow the colors. And then see if you can make one coming off in the other direction. Thanks.